Okay, so this is not the video that I planned to make this week. I'm actually sitting here in my hotel room. I'm on work travel this week. I'm here after a long day of work and I just want to talk to y'all a little bit. So lately I've been feeling like I am in this place where I can't be good enough at all of the things that I do. And I've talked about this here before on my channel, but what has really been like pulling at me lately is not being able to be the YouTuber and the content creator that I want to be. So you all know I have this YouTube channel, but in addition, I also have a full-time job and I also have a family. I'm a mom, a wife, all those things as well. And like most of the time, I feel like I'm just treading water. Like I'm staying afloat, I'm staying alive, but I'm not really getting anywhere. And I think most of the time, most of my attention obviously gets pulled towards being a mom, taking care of my family, and then also work, right? Because I have obligations and I'm getting paid and I need to fulfill those obligations. And then also I just have like a sense of duty towards my position and my job, and I really love my job. For those of y'all who might be newer to my channel, I am a nurse by background. I've been a nurse for 20 years. And so over that 20 years, I've done lots of different things. I worked in direct patient care for many years. I did case management. I worked in quality management for a long time. And now I am more of a consultant, which means that my job is a lot more demanding. And part of that includes travel. Now, when I first took this job, it's been almost 5 years now. It was actually during the pandemic, and we really were not traveling like we are now, right? So a lot of hospitals were preoccupied, obviously, with taking care of COVID patients. And then also there were like social distancing rules. And so we couldn't necessarily travel and be on site like we can now. And so that has really ramped up over the past several years. And I've really been struggling to kind of try and balance everything because I'm just not at home as much as I would like to be able to film and make YouTube videos like I used to. Like I'm feeling very like stretched thin, and I know that most of you can probably relate to that, especially if you're a working parent. And so I think something that comes along with that is maybe a little bit of guilt. Like I try really hard not to feel that sense of guilt that I'm not doing enough for my channel, that I'm not doing enough for my job, that I'm not doing enough for my family. But right now I'm really feeling that in terms of my channel. And I feel like you've probably noticed that, right? Like my uploads have been super inconsistent and I am extremely disappointed with myself for that. Like I'm just feeling very like stretched thin with all of the things that I'm trying to do every day, every week, every month. And my upload schedule has been very inconsistent. And honestly, I like, it is not acceptable to me. And I feel very bad about that, but I haven't really said much about it because like, honestly, I don't really know what to say. And I didn't really want to say anything without having like some kind of a plan for moving forward. The reality is that every single one of you that come here every week and watch my videos, I know that some of you watch every video I post, which I'm super, super grateful for that. It's just like, I feel like I owe it to you to publish more content. And I know that every time I talk about that here on my channel, like my upload, you know, frequency and things like that, a lot of you tell me like, don't worry about it. Like, we know you're super busy. You just, you know, publish videos when you have the chance, so on and so forth. But I wouldn't necessarily call myself type A, but I'm one of those people who like, if I'm gonna do something, like I really want to excel at it. And so I don't even know if I'm really like articulating myself or articulating it very well, but I think you know what I mean when I feel like I'm not like measuring up in this aspect of like YouTube and social media and content. But like I said, honestly, like most of us probably feel overwhelmed with some aspect of our life, and I'm trying really hard to tell myself that like I'm not failing. Like this is just a phase, right? And so what does that mean? What does that mean going forward? Well, first of all, YouTube has changed a lot since I first started this channel many years ago. I actually started my channel back in 2013. I was a crafting and scrapbooking channel, and then I did that pretty inconsistently for like 4 or 5 years. And then in 2018 was really when I started pivoting my channel over into cooking and lifestyle and home content and things like that. And that's where I really found my passion here on YouTube. Y'all know that I love to cook. I've loved to cook since I was a kid. It's something that I do for fun. I mean, I do it because I need to for my family, but I actually really enjoy it as well. And so when I can share all of that with you, and especially when I can share, you know, recipes and meal plans, and I've really been enjoying really kind of like sharing more of these budget focused videos recently. And I really feel like that's something like, especially with the economy and inflation and the price of groceries right now, that's really needed at this point in time, right? Because the price of groceries is out of control. And even if you have, you know, extra money for groceries or a little bit of wiggle room or something like that, like it is all getting to the point where most of us really have to be very cognizant of what we are spending our money on. And so I really enjoyed sharing that content with you, and I want to share more of that in the future. It's just that it is a little bit more time intensive than what I have time for on a weekly basis right now. So I'm actually really excited to share today's video sponsor with you all, who is Aviron. So I've been sharing a little bit here and there about my weight loss with semaglutide, and I'm getting to the point now where I really need to start incorporating some exercise into my life. I've never really been good about being consistent with exercise. And so when Aviron reached out to me and they were like, do you want to work with us and feature our treadmill on your channel? I was like, yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to get like a really good high quality treadmill. I actually bought a walking pad, like a extremely cheap walking pad during the pandemic, and I never really enjoyed it all of that much because obviously it's a very cheap piece of equipment. But I feel like Aviron is going to change the game when it comes to exercise, and here is why. So what they have done with their treadmill, their rowing machine, and their bike is to gamify exercise, okay? So game psychology is actually backed by science, and it helps turn fitness into something that you actually enjoy, which is a huge challenge for me. So you can say goodbye to boring workouts and hello to better habits. So one of the things that's really awesome about the Aviron treadmill is that it has these gamified programs that turn exercise into something that you enjoy and look forward to, and you're actually 2.5 times more likely to stick to a gamified fitness routine than a traditional workout. So you can play games, hit milestones, unlock achievements, and then earn rewards that help keep you motivated and coming back for more. Actually, when they came and set up my treadmill, it wasn't even like one day after I had it, and my son Connor was like in my office and he's like, Mom, can I use your treadmill? And he started discovering all the different games on there, right? And so like as he's doing these different programs and he's like running faster on the treadmill, walking faster on the treadmill, turning the incline up, I just thought it was very fun, and he's honestly been using it just as much as I have. So I feel like that's a little bit of a bonus too. So Aviron not only has classes on their treadmill and not just games, but they also have scenic rides or scenic walks. So one of my favorite features is to use the scenic walks function, where I can turn it on. There's actually like sounds that come along with it too. So like you can take a walk through like the Red Rocks or, you know, a city in Europe or something like that. It's super cool. I really enjoy it. One thing I also really like is that I can sync it with my Apple Watch. Aviron is also engineered with comfort and accessibility at its core. Their equipment is ergonomic and adjustable and accommodates all body types and fitness levels, which I think is super important for inclusivity. And some of the features that make a difference with Aviron are the impact absorbing Cloud Strike deck. Their cushioned deck offers advanced shock absorption and a spacious belt for a smooth, comfortable stride every step of the way. They also have an ultra low 4-inch deck for stability, so it's just 4 inches from the ground. Their treadmill really has this stable, grounded feel, and that helps keep every stride safe and natural. The best part, I think, is their 22-inch touchscreen for immersive workouts. Like I mentioned, you can immerse yourself in your fitness journey with that super vibrant touchscreen display. It's super easy to navigate. They also drop new content every month to keep things fresh. And if you're not interested in a treadmill, don't forget they have the rowing machine and the bike also available. principle. So I'm really excited to be incorporating this Aviron treadmill into my routine. And if you guys want to check it out, I'll have a link in the description box below where you can head over to their site, check out all of their equipment. I also have a QR code on the screen right here. So either scan that or click that link to get this special offer. They also have some options available for like payment options on their site, which I think is super cool. And then you can also request the white glove delivery, which is what I got. I freaking love that. Okay, it's like, it's so seamless. You just like schedule a delivery time, they come in and set everything up for you. So you can put it together if you'd like, but you can also go with like the white glove delivery, which if you don't like putting things together like me, that's something I would definitely recommend. They'll put together your treadmill for you, or your rowing machine, or your bike, and they'll leave you on your way to exercise. Aviron is just such a cool company. I was actually just reading some about their founder's story and kind of how he started this whole company with this gamification psychology principle. So if you want to pick one up for yourself, don't forget to check that link in the description box below, or scan the QR code on the screen right here. And so I've really been doing a lot of soul searching about work. Okay, so one of the things I want to be very like vulnerable about is that my job and my career is like a huge part of my identity, right? And so it's a huge sense of accomplishment for me, not just for you know, the education and the experience that I have, but I also really enjoy my job. It's really very personal for me knowing that I can impact healthcare in a positive way. And so one of the questions that I repeatedly get asked over the years here on YouTube is, are you gonna quit your job and do YouTube full time? Okay, absolutely not. I've answered that question so many times. No, I would never quit my job and do YouTube. I just think that social media is so unpredictable, and also like a big part of my platform here on YouTube is being a working mom. Like that's one of the reasons why I pivoted my channel into this in the first place, was because I was watching YouTube and I had a hard time relating to some of the content creators that I watched. And I watch a lot of different content here on YouTube. However, I did notice that there was sort of this gap in terms of working women, career women, people who work outside the homes, people who work outside the house. Let me be clear about this, okay? If you're a woman, and especially if you have kids, you do work. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, for those of us who do have a full-time job in addition to taking care of our families, that was kind of where I saw that content gap. Like, honestly, as women, most of us are doing a ton of invisible labor around our homes. So regardless of whether you work outside the home or not, you do work. I just think there's a different balance and sense of reality to be had when you have like a traditional 40-hour-a-week work week, you know what I mean? And so, like, especially with the economy, it is the way it is right now, it's very sort of nerve-wracking to consider a career change, but that is what I'm considering doing. So I don't really have like a very concrete update to share with you right now, because I'm still sort of in limbo with a potential new job, but I am heavily considering taking a different position that I'm currently in the application / maybe hiring process for, to be able to spend more time, not just on YouTube, because that's not necessarily my primary focus, but just to be also home more often for my kids. My kids like really hate it when I travel. They don't complain much. Actually, Connor complains a lot more than Kira does, but it's really something that I've been thinking about for a while, just as sort of something different that I can do. And it's always so scary to kind of take a leap of faith and consider a new job, especially if you have a job that is stable. But you know, I also feel like growth does not come from comfort zones. Like when I first accepted this job that I have now 5 years ago, it was extremely scary for me. Like I had worked at the same hospital for like over 14 years. And so it was extremely scary for me to leave. But whenever I look back on my life and I think about those times where I was sort of at that crossroad, and I maybe took that leap of faith and did something scary and different, it always works out in the end, right? But change is scary. Like, a lot of us don't like change, and that is understandable, especially when we have something stable going on. I've always had some sort of creative outlet. So years ago, it was scrapbooking and crafting, and I did that for many, many years. It became kind of a little bit harder to do once my kids got older and they didn't really enjoy having their pictures taken so often. You know, I had less material to work with. And so then my creative outlet kind of became this channel and cooking and things like that. And so it's really something that I'm very passionate about. It helps, you know, feed that kind of creative part of me. But then I also like sharing, especially on social media, because I feel like I, you know, have been able to, with all of you who participate in watching my videos and talking in the comments and things like that, kind of create like a really positive community around cooking and how to feed your family when you're a working parent. Like, for sure, moms are definitely tired of this pressure to have to do it all of the time and be perfect about it, and never buy processed food, and, you know, never order pizza, and always cook things from scratch. And y'all know I like cooking things from scratch just as much as the next person, but that's not always realistic when you get home from work at 6 p.m. and your kids are hungry. And so I really enjoy like that part of YouTube, like sharing that kind of real life unscripted stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that like really feeds my soul. And when I sit down and really think about planning out a video, like for example, like a budget video or something like that, I always come at it from a standpoint of like, how is this going to help people? And I think that is just, I don't know, it's just something that's very like fulfilling to me, and it's something that I don't want to lose. And so I guess the question is like, where do I go from here? Well, to be honest, I'm not quite sure yet, because like I said, there's a lot of things still up in the air with my current job and a hopefully potential new job. So I'll have to keep you all updated on that. I don't want to sit here and promise like, oh, I'm gonna be posting 3 videos a week, you know, things like that. I have a lot of friends who are also YouTubers, and we kind of talk back and forth, and you know, they're like, oh, well, how many videos would you like to publish a week? And I'm like, honestly, if I had time to publish a video every day, I would love to publish a video every day. Like, that's not something that's realistic for me right now, but like ideally I would like to be posting like 3 to 4 videos a week. That's where I feel like the most comfortable is not a really good word to use there. That's where I feel like I'm of service the best, and what I feel best about with like my own expectations of myself about my channel. And honestly, like YouTube has, I'm so grateful for it. Like, I'm so grateful that I was able to kind of discover this outlet as a way to share cooking, share tips, share about being a working mom, but then also make an income because of that, right? So like the things that having this, I hate calling it a side hustle, but that's what everyone calls it now, so I guess I'm just gonna call it that. You know, the things that having this side hustle has allowed, you know, myself and my family to do is like fully invest in our retirement accounts. I also feel very strongly about education, and one of the things that I'm extremely proud of is that with the money I make here on YouTube, I'm also able to fully fund my kids' college accounts. I did not have parents that helped me through college, and I definitely think if you're a parent, that's not necessarily a requirement, but I do want to be able to do that for my kids so that they can have the best start in life possible. Connor is still young. He's gonna be in 7th grade, so he doesn't quite know what he wants to do with his life yet, but Kira's gonna be a junior in high school, and she really wants to be a physical therapist. She started out wanting to be a pharmacist, and then now she's leaning more towards physical therapy or occupational therapy. So if I have any PTs or OTs here watching this video, I would love to hear your take on what you think is the best career, PT versus OT. But you know, that's something that also requires a lot of schooling, and I'm very excited about helping her make that a reality without the crushing student loan debt that myself and my husband experience. I wouldn't say necessarily crushing, like we didn't have as much student loan debt as some people do. That's also something I was able to do with the money I made here on YouTube, was to like pay off our student loans and things like that. So it has been a blessing, and I know that my kind of productivity and my you know, cadence of uploading has kind of ebbed and flowed over the years, but I promise you, I'm still here. I'm still committed, and if you've been with me and you're sticking with me, I really appreciate that. I really look forward to kind of sharing more about this new chapter, should it come along. I hate waiting, I hate being in this limbo state, but also I am excited for the possibility of a change and something new and something less demanding, you know, a less demanding but still very important and impactful career, because that's important to me. But then also this channel is important to me also, and I think there's a lot I could do with that if I had more time, right? If you're about to make a big change in your life and you're scared, that's totally normal. Like I said, I always feel like growth and good things never come from comfort zones. It's always kind of scary to make that leap. So thank y'all for being here. I really do appreciate you so much. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate your interaction in the comments. I really enjoy reading all the comments you all leave me every time I post a video. I try to go through and heart and reply to as many as I can, because I think as creators, that's something really important we should do. There's nothing that turns me off more as a viewer, because like, even though I'm a creator here on YouTube, I'm also a consumer of YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's nothing that irritates me more when a creator posts a video and there's a ton of comments on it and they have not hearted or replied to any. I'm like, are you even reading what your people are saying? Are you even reading them? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of rude, and like, especially with YouTubers, and I've said this before, like, we are nothing without our audiences, right? Like, if you all weren't here watching our videos, there would be nothing for us. So I truly do appreciate all of the comments that you all leave, and the thumbs up and things like that. So yeah, did I answer all your burning questions? Probably not. Probably not. I didn't even answer all my burning questions, but anyway, if there's any questions that I did not answer, please leave them in the comments below. Would love to hear that. Also, would love to hear how you are balancing parenthood along with your own career or schooling or whatever you've got going on. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hardly ever tell people to do this, but if you're not subscribed to my channel, you should subscribe. I think right now I have about 50% of viewers watching and then are not subscribed. And go ahead and give this video a thumbs up also. I'm gonna say that for good measure, because I never really say that either. And also thank you again to Aviron for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check them out down below, but I'll keep you all updated. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.